All right, everybody, hello and welcome to a regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council of the City of Pearsall, being today, at 6 p.m. Here at 214 South Ave. Madam Secretary, can I have a roll call, please?
Ben T. Briscoe,
Here.
James Leal,
Present.
Rachel Garza, Sonia Hernandez, Tiffany Talamantes, Ramiro Trevino,
Here.
Brenda Trevino, here, Aurora Garza, here.
All right, we do have a quorum. With that, let's give our invocation. Pledge. Don't join me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you once again for this day, Lord. Thank you for the great rains that we received recently, Lord, and how it's refreshing the earth. Thank you for that. Father, guide us tonight as we go about the business of the city. Father, we pray your hand be upon all our workers, employees, our staff. And thank you for those that help support us in getting our audit done and the vendors that do the many things they do to help us keep this city rolling. So Father, guide us again. We're grateful for the things your son did for us on the cross. For it's in his name we pray. Amen. Amen. Sonny?
To the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Madam Secretary, do you have any citizens to be heard?
We do not, Mayor.
No citizens to be heard. One note on mayor's message. Folks, you guys passed back in January, the Alamo Letter Society asked for us to approve a resolution where we're getting the Colonel Travis victory or death letter brought to our county. Last 2 weeks ago, the county approved that resolution, and we will have the plaque, which is a plaque of the actual 220 words of Colonel William Garrett Travis's letter to the world during the Battle of the Alamo, on a plaque put in the courthouse yard, and that will be celebrated during Pioneer Days at 10 o'clock. So if you guys are available, please come by. We'll have a big celebration. A lot of folks from the society. The goal is to have that letter in every county courthouse in the state of Texas, and they're about a third of the way there. So anyway, really excited about that. Appreciate the city with the resolution that you passed in that. With that, we're going to go right into our report. So Captain, are you filling in for the chief tonight?
Are you supposed to be here, sir?
Okay, we're gonna move on and do public works now.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, go ahead. On my report, I'm just gonna lightly touch on the middle portion of the report here. That's the only place where you can see a sizable difference, an increase. Not to worry, that's primarily those are just disconnects and reconnects is probably, the whole fiber thing has calmed down a bit, not as much as we would like it to, but it has calmed down quite a bit from its commencement. So aside from that, unless y'all have any questions, I'll go over the rest of them, but if not, then I will jump into some updates. Go ahead. As far as contractors, Easy Bell is completely done with their sodding and their sidewalk project. What they're doing now, the very last thing is watering. So that's all that's left to do. And so they're done. They're completely done. M5 is yet to return, so we do not have a restart yet for M5. They're not here yet. So what else did I have? That's probably the good part. The bad part is we still have problems on the bad part. We still have problems at the wastewater part, at the wastewater plant. And but we did hire a contractor, so we do have a resolution or a resolve for the repair next needed out there. So that repair is coming in the next couple of weeks. So we should be good.
And you're gonna get us some information on what that.
Yes, it'll be yes, so we're gonna go ahead and do the repair, and then I'll update y'all where we're at on stats. It should be a turnkey should be no more than a week once it starts. So once they get here, it's a team out of Houston that's doing irons.
And this is a needed repair that has to
Absolutely, it's horrible. Yeah, it's needed. It's definitely needed. We're doing some pumping. We need to quit doing get away from that and go back to normal operations. In order for that to happen, we need to clean the irons.
Hey, Council, do you have any questions for the building director? I failed to mention the city manager was traveling and got delayed on a flight out of Phoenix. So he is touching down in San Antonio at 7 o'clock. And so he will, as soon as he gets in his vehicle, he'll be zooming in with us. So we'll rock and roll. And whatever I can't bring up, the city secretary will take care of. Okay, moving on, Chief, you got welcome. Maybe.
For February 2026, have the patrol report. 78 offenses. 62 calls, or 62 calls that resulted in an officer. 4 officer issued. There were 55 arrested or charged. 140 incidents. 144 citations, 299 warnings. 57 security checks, and a total of 286 calls for service. So overall, it was a lot slower than the previous months. We've been averaging in the 500s for many months. So the calls did go down, even though February was a short full month. For our CID report, we had 20 new cases submitted by our investigator. 7 were drug related, and we have 10 pending lab results. Narcotics for the month. There's 6 grams of methamphetamines, 6 grams of marijuana, and 2 THC vapes off the streets. For the ACO report, our ACOs impounded 80 animals, 76 dogs for the poor, very wildlife. 1 dog was adopted out. We didn't euthanize him. 66 of them were transferred out. 7 were returned to their owners, and we did have 1 dog were removed. The wildlife that I had mentioned, there was a bobcat and 3 snakes.
Don't need your stock. Chief, are these narcotics that predominantly traffic stops for everything?
That I have the case numbers listed, but it doesn't give me the details.
Okay.
I couldn't give you an accurate statement this year. Not really.
And how's it going lately with denials and things like that? Part.
It's varying. I haven't heard too many bad things, but we still run into a few issues here. Is there any questions?
Chief,
Yes, sir.
have you had any interest in any officers with K9?
Yes, we've thought about it. It's something that we want to bring up to see if it fits within the budget parameters for this coming year. We do have officers that are hungry, so to speak. The thing is that we need them to understand the responsibilities that it takes to take care of a female, to take care of the dog. That includes training. Basically, you're that dog's parent for as long as you have it, and that's a lot of things. That's something that was the reason behind me putting a pause on it. In the past, there was the initial interest to be a canine officer, but once they saw all the work that was involved, they were very. I can think of one that actually stayed with it. She's no longer with us. But everybody else that I can remember, it was a short interest. Then it was gone. So we need somebody that's gonna be dedicated to doing it and willing to put at least 3 years with that dog.
Yeah.
How many good spots do we have right now?
We have 2 at the moment. We just filled 1 today. Correct, Kat?
Tomorrow.
I'm sorry, tomorrow.
So can we make the other available spots solely for a K9?
The thing is that it wouldn't fit within our budget for our current fiscal year budget. If we have an opening towards the end of the year, or it's something that I'd like to speak with the manager about. I'd like to see if we could look into possibly making that work. But as of right now, we don't have the money allocated for that specific purpose.
If you have any questions for our chief. All right, chief, thank you very much. Yes, appreciate it. All right, next up, finance director Christine, are you on the Zoom call?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, you want to go over financial report with in mind that we're gonna hit the audit here pretty quick as well. So,
Yes, sir. So good evening, Mayor and Council. As of February, we met approximately 42% of the fiscal year. And the the general fund has revenues exceeding expenditures by approximately $879,000. Ad valorem tax collections is 1.5 million, which represents 77% of the budget. But keep in mind, a portion of that still has to be reallocated to the TERS fund. Sales tax revenue total was 1.3 million, which is 43% of the annual budget. Utility fund expenditures exceeded revenues by approximately $52,000, but that could be timing because of billing of water. Water revenue totals were 914,000, which is approximately 30% of our budget. Sewer revenues total 367,000, 41% of our budget. The overall expenditures remain aligned with the fiscal calendar, with the general fund at 42% of its expenditures and the utility fund at 36% of the anticipated budgets. City staff continues to prudently manage financial resources in accordance with our budget. The cash balances for the pulled cash account was $4.6 million. And in the tax pull account, which again is that bond money, we have a remaining $638,000 as of February 28th, 2026. And that's all I have.
we're gonna hit a little bit more of those highlights with the audit minute. So, guys have any questions for Christine at this point? Hearing none, we'll move on. Thank you, Christine.
Sure.
Next up, we'll have our city secretary, Crystal, with interim community development.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just an overview of each department, community development. We had a total of 5 commercial permits totaling $850.08 in revenue. 23 residential permits totaling $49.75.74. As far as code enforcement, one was able to go ahead and open 17 new cases. He closed 5 existing cases. He issued 1 citation, and we have 1 case pending with work, from what I understand. Library services, we did have 134 books checked out, along with 25 audio books. We had 1463 patrons come through the library. Revenue collected is going to be $465.55. Rentals and reservations, you see a breakdown there. We have it by Civic Center, Library, Park, and Complex. Our complex did not see any visitors this month. We do have that attributed to Little League. Little League, no one is allowed to rent out the facility when Little League is going on. And Parks and Recreation, we have our regular maintenance, repainting bathrooms. Pretty much what we're focusing on is preparing for Little League, getting the fields raked, prepping the fields, the complex fields, everything. Batting cages, we had 2 batting cages going up through the concrete last Thursday, as well as the lead yesterday as well. Dugout, we went ahead and took some of the vandalism, we took care of that, painted over it. And then also in addition to that, we were painting handicap signage where the seating is to make sure that those are reserved for our disabled patrons. Do you have any questions?
Crystal, just want to thank you for the added responsibility you're taking on with doing this on top of your other duties. So thank you for filling in well. So appreciate it.
More than welcome, thank you.
Next up, Judge Doyle.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
For the official municipal court monthly report, when we're looking at it, for February 2026. The traffic misdemeanors were non-parking 4,448, parking 35. The active cases are 1,284, and the parking are 16.
but the inactive is 3,164 and the parking is 19. On the non-traffic misdemeanor side, we had a total of 446 and other state laws, which is 185, city ordinance for 116. When we look at the active, it's 118 and then 320. As you go down, we can still see that the total cases for pending at the end of the month were 4,454 for the traffic misdemeanors. And then the parking was 35. If you keep going down, it's 446 for non-traffic and 106. City ordinance of 116. Continuing with the actual report of inactive active with any other information pertaining to defaults or not, there's nothing indicated there, but on the staff report. We did have city ordinance, which trash burning for like comparison to January to now, it was 1, there was none in January. And then animals 16, there was an influx, I don't know, I did have people come to me and there was a lot of city ordinance citations for. Animals running about, trying, I guess, get him back into the property. And then the other one is collections, and this is the big one here. Because we have the warrant roundup for January. This year, we had $7,553.43 with 124 new cases. In February, we had $26,472.72, which was 134 cases, which totaled $34,026.15. That's what we allocated in those 2 months in the citations of the roundup. And they were coming in because they were receiving the card stating that there's going to be a warrant, so they came in right away to pay either online or to come and see.
Judge, this was just a mail out?
Yes, yes, sir.
Very good. Council, you have any questions for the judge? All right, very good. Thank you, Judge. Next up, Juanita with our chief report.
Disclosure. I forgot my own report, so if you have any questions, let me know. Is it up there? Oh, never mind. Sorry, it's up there. Apart from this, we've been working on the events for this year. Fairmount and I have been meeting quite frequently for the October one, and I've been working on the July 4th. Also, since January. So, any questions?
How many members do you have on board?
The board, I have
8. And they're elected.
well, that are on the board.
So how many would you say are active?
Say about half. All right.
So, do you know the reason for them not being active and can we replace them? I mean, as far as.
We have
it.
Doc and I have discussed,
You know?
Doc and I have had our discussions on, they're aware that there's a procedure for it, so we're going through the process. For this, done with their full heart.
Anything else big going on in our community? The opportunities we get on, wise, it was on.
There are a lot of things that have come up that we're working on that, are not completely sold.
Council, do you have any questions for? All right, thank you, Money. Moving on. Ms. Hernandez, you have an announcement to make about our presentation to item 6A.
Mayor, Council,
Good evening.
we have here today our new Director of Communication Marketing. Her name is Elizabeth Gonzalez. She holds a bachelor's degree in business administration and a master's of healthcare administration from the University of Harvard. Her academic background provides a strong foundation in organizational management, finance, and regulatory compliance. She previously served as a compliance specialist at the University of Health, where she supported grants, oversight, program monitoring, research, and cross-functional coordination within a highly regulated environment. She supports her work with accuracy, organization, and clear communication. In her current role, Elizabeth manages public communications, media relations, and community information on behalf of the municipality, while also supporting economic development initiatives focused on attracting, retaining, and expanding local businesses. We have Ms. Elizabeth Gonzalez.
I am very grateful to have this opportunity to be in this position. I cannot wait to work with my wonderful team, not only to highlight and market the city of Pearsall, but to also bring in economic development to be able to grow our city and to bring in more foot traffic. Thank you.
Well, I can tell y'all she's hit the ground running. I'm excited. All right, thank you very much. Okay, Finance Director, Ms. Green, we have with us Carl with Armstrong and Associates to go over our audit. If you guys would refer to that page, I think he's got a display for you to look at too as well. Carl, or you?
Good evening, council. So I know you guys have a long agenda, so I'm gonna try to keep this brief, just stick to the highlights. I shortened the presentation a bit from last year as well, to kind of go with that goal. This first slide is just what is in the audit report, the bullet points. The two that I just want to touch on here are in the middle. The government-wide financial statements and the fund financial statements. As a city, you have two sets. One is full accrual, which is not how the city puts their books. There you see long-term assets and liabilities such as debt and fixed assets. And the fund statements, which is what I'll cover tonight. That's how the city maintains its books on a modified accrual basis. And so the information that I'll display to y'all will mirror mostly what Christine presents to y'all monthly. Okay, so this is the independent auditors report. This is the page that outside auditors, financial institutions or anyone that wants to get a hold of y'all's audit report, they're gonna go here first. This is the audit opinion. It is how you did on the audit itself, whether or not the financial statements were free of material misstatements in accordance with GAAP. So we gave what is the best opinion that you can give, which is the unmodified opinion on the audit. So the city was audited and you received the best opinion you can get on an audit. Okay, so I have one slide on the government-wide, which are the long-term statements, and then again, we'll go into the modified accrual, which is how the city runs its books internally. The governmental activities, the assets exceeded the liabilities by 8 point. Can you go back this slide? Right there. The assets exceeded the liabilities by 8.9 million, and so your net position, that's your equity, increased by 1.5 million. Your business type activities, which we're going to get into in just a second. Overall, your assets exceeded liabilities by 12.9 million. But your unrestricted net position is a deficit 1.6. And so we'll get into the operations of the utility fund on the next slide. Okay, so I took a snapshot of the financial statements for your utility fund, and I added a 2024 column there so we could see the current 2025 activity compared to 2024. There's a couple of things I want to highlight here. On the revenue side, the last two lines, grants and miscellaneous. Grants of 715,000. That's actually representing what we've recognized so far on the loan forgiveness from the Texas Water Development Board. So we're starting to recognize some of that $1 million there, and we recognize 715,000 in the current year. Miscellaneous, that could have just said interest income. All of this is really coming from the interest that you've received from the bond being in pool accounts and earning interest on it for the year. Why is that significant? Well, if we look at the operating income loss for the year, you have an operating income of 503,000. But if you took the grants and the interest income, that's almost $1 million in revenue that's not a normal operating type source. It's not going to be received every single year. You're not going to have the loan forgiveness. Once the bonds are spent, you're not going to have necessarily that interest income. So what I'm trying to point out here is that even though you do have an operating income for the year of 503,000, if it weren't for those kind of in particular special items, you might have had a loss. And so when we look at the expenses, we can see in kind of comparing to the revenue as well. In particular, the commercial garbage was 1.8 million, almost 1.9, and you made about 1.9 in revenues. Where the loss is really coming from is actually going to be with the gas charges for services. You're making 408,000 in revenue, but the expenses far exceed that. Actually, have a quick note on it. Sorry, bear with me. Your gas expenses were for 2025 were 559,000. So you're making a loss net on your gas revenue to expenses for the year, as well as just rising costs with other services. The utility fund is not generating enough revenue on a normal year for the everyday operating expenses. But for this year in particular, you did have a net income of $503,000. You can see 2024, you had a net loss of almost $1 million. So this, is something to address, and we've been addressing it with Fred and the mayor and Christine, and to our knowledge, y'all are exploring, the different possibilities to kind of turn that around.
If I can talk to that a little bit, y'all, on our gas system specifically. We need in the coming months, put some focus on that, on what we really need to do with that in order to. And there's some issues that it's a delicate discussion, and we talked about that probably before the vote. But it is an area of focus, and then also too, we're working on our water loss and various things like that to try to improve revenues from those things, which we can improve on. It's gotten better, but we need to address things like meters and those kind of things. So very much on the table, and it's something that we're definitely focusing on.
And to that point, as one of the audit comments that we had in the previous year, was to look at the meters and see which ones needed updating, because there were a lot of credit balances to accounts for adjustments for overcharging and then bringing down from misreads on meters. There's been significant improvements on that we saw in this audit. In fact, we removed it as a comment in the governance letter because we saw vast improvements in lowering the credits for misreads on meters. Okay, next slide. So that was the utility fund, with kind of, I guess, quote unquote, bad news. Let's look at the general fund here. So this is the general fund, the fund statement highlights. Your general fund balance at the end of the year was 4.8 million. Your unrestricted is 4.8 million, and your fund balance for all funds was 6.1 million. Sorry, I misspoke again. Your overall fund balance was 6.1, but your unassigned fund balance for the general fund is 4.1. So there are some things that are not restricted, but that are restricted, but your unrestricted is 4.1. And so when we look at fund balance in terms of do you have a good fund balance? Is 4.1 million enough to cover expenses for the year, or what does that mean to a city this size? We tend to look at it in terms of how many months of expenditures it represents, and that'll give you a good idea of whether or not you have a healthy fund balance itself. And so when I divided the expenditures into your fund balance, it gives you about 7.4 months of operating expenditures. That's a pretty healthy fund balance. You can think of it in terms of how large would you like to have your own savings account. In need of emergency, how many months of expenses do you need in your savings, in order to continue to meet the demands of an emergency type situation? We'd say anywhere from 6 months to a year is a really healthy fund balance, and you guys are on your way to achieving that.
And back to the utility funds, remember we did a rate increase, so that'll go in effect for next year, and that will provide some offset of this.
Okay, so there's a lot of numbers here. I just want to point out just a couple of highlights. Most of the revenues were fairly consistent. You had an increase in your property taxes, but you had a very similar decrease in sales taxes. Revenues comparatively to 2024 actually increased, but a lot of this is with the payment in lieu of taxes. You can kind of see it towards like fourth line down. You had 174,000. That just has to do with a settlement that was from prior years. So your normal payment in lieu of taxes is about 642,000. So in reality, your revenues seem like they've increased quite a bit from last year. But you'll see as the years go on that settlement's not going to happen again. Your revenues are really actually consistent comparatively. And then I'll just touch on just a couple things per department through the expenditures. In the general fund, your community development, which is the second to the last line, it increased from the last year. It's 312,000 this year, 170,000 last year. That is from implementing the new building permit company or vendor that's helping you all with permits, and so it increased the expenses. In public safety, most of the increase from last year is salaries related by about 220,000. Going down. Going to the next page. Public Works Department, it actually decreased by about 33,000. So there will always be fluctuation year to year. And then Culture and Recreation, the service department is actually where a lot of the spending went to the previous note payable. The general fund took out debt for certain equipment, for about $754,000. And a lot of it was, the expense wise was placed there in the service department, and then obviously capital outlay, which is what we capitalized for the years. The last point I want to make on this page is the excess deficiency of revenues over expenditures. That's your net income essentially for the year. And this year you had a net loss of $171,000. So, you know, revenues didn't fluctuate too much, but you did have a lot more expenditures from that new loan that you took out. And so for this year, you did have a loss. But you still have over 7.4 months of expenditure and fund balance. Okay, last two slides. I don't really have anything to point out here other than I like to present to you all the debt, you know, your total notes payable and bonds that the city has right now, the total balances of them and what you'll pay in principal for this coming up year. Okay, and last slide. This is your net pension liability from TMRS. The very top section is all the things that make up the liability. The bottom section are the assets that go against it. And if you can see the far right column, your liability is 7.8 million, your assets are 8.6 million. Towards the bottom there. And so you actually have a net pension asset of 728,000. So you have more contributed necessarily than what they determined to be your liability. GFOA says anywhere from 70% funded is a healthy within best practices, and right now you're at 109% funded. This will fluctuate year to year depending on, you know, people retiring or new employees, but TMRS is great about keeping you guys, you know, healthy funded and above the 70%. And right now you've been at 100% for the past, you know, year or so. Okay. Do you guys have any questions? And again, I couldn't have done it without Miss Christine and Miss Brooke. They're essential in getting us everything we need for the audit and keeping the city's books in good enough shape that we can audit and just try to contribute in any way we can.
Now, so ask questions now because we'll be line item to approve the audit here in just a little bit. If you have any more questions, and one of the things I want to note too, hats off to the staff, is our findings, which the auditor does. I'm just at the end of the report that says these are the things that you need improvement on. And previously they're running about 12 to 15 different items that, you know, you need to do better on. You'll turn to page 60 some odd, there's 4. So staff has done a really good job on working on those, and we want to thank Armstrong and Associates for the job that they do of getting this. You know, it's critical that we get this done timely for our bond rating and all that other stuff, and so they've done a good job of working with this environment. And on that loss too, it's a minor note of the utility fund, but there is about 900,000 appreciation here, which is a non-cash expense, but it is a real expense. But it's syndicated in there as well. So, council, do you have any other question, Mr. Carl?
What's our rating? Do you know what our rating is?
Specifically for the city, I can't remember. I know it's not in the financial report. We usually give a rating on the pools and whatnot. I want to say it's, but I have to check with Christine on the rating.
What?
But you know, Texas Water Development Board looks at that pretty close, and we've just been awarded 2 pretty substantial loans for our project up there. Okay, questions? Not Carl, Christine, anything else? All right, council, we'll move on. Thank you, Carl. Okay, next up, we have item 6C, discussion and presentation regarding enterprise fleet management programs. Team manager's not in, but Mr. Hildebrand. Welcome.
Good
evening.
I'll have it up on the screen.
Evening, council, mayor, my name is Thomas Hildebrand, I'm a fleet consultant with Enterprise Fleet Management. I did go ahead and create this presentation. The one's going to be presenting it is my manager, Laz Pinoza.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Thank you. I also have extra printed copies in case you guys needed some. Oh, perfect. Great. So once again, my name is Laz Pinoza. I'm the area manager with Enterprise Fleet Management. So I just want to discuss what it would look like to what a partnership would look like with Pearsall for your public works vehicles, to manage your public works vehicles as well as some of your police vehicles. There's a couple of different. If we can start with the fleet synopsis. So this really just paints the picture of what your current fleet looks like. First of all, thanks for submitting your fleet information. We take a lot of data that you guys submit, including year, make, model, current mileage on vehicles, specs, and then we also we have over 2 million vehicles that we manage across enterprise and enterprise rental, car rental. And that's how we come up with our analysis. So thank you for submitting that. Three of the big opportunities that we identified within your fleet are first of all, safety. So we want to make sure that you guys are in safe vehicles. We really look at the age of the vehicles because a lot of the safety features, have become standardized over the last few years, over the last maybe 10 years. So whenever you look at vehicles that are older than that, a lot of them don't have those safety features. So the number one thing that we want to focus on is safety. The second thing is just to reduce your vehicle, how long you keep a vehicle in the fleet, call it your cycle point. So you guys are currently keeping vehicles in the fleet for about 10 years. And we're proposing to cut that in half from just over 10 years to about 5 years. We'll show you how we'll do that. And then finally, the last thing is just we want to show you how to do more with your budget and implement an internal replacement fund. The whole idea is, hey, we can show you how to take advantage of the fact that we're already part of the Sourcewell contract. So you guys can take advantage of incentives, rebates, get vehicles cheaper than anybody else can get them. And then we can implement our fleet management programs to really establish like a safe and just a replacement pattern that makes sense for your vehicles. So we're replacing them at 5 years instead of 10 years. That's going to bring down your operating costs. So for example, your maintenance costs, your fuel costs. So we're going to get vehicles really, really cheap for you guys. We're going to cut down those operating costs, and then on the back end, we're really good at selling vehicles, and that's money that goes back to the city, back to you guys. In the fleet synopsis, just the next couple of pages is just more data on your current vehicles. The analysis has 42, your fleet size is 42 vehicles, shows your average age, being almost 10 vehicles, shows all the different buckets as far as the current mileage. So it shows, hey, which you've got, 4 vehicles that have over 100,000 miles, 5 vehicles, 80 to 100,000 miles. So you guys aren't going a ton of miles. It's, I think, right around 9,000 miles or so. However, when we look at the age of the vehicles, even if you're not driving them, as those vehicles get older, they're, we look at those safety features, and obviously they're losing value on the back end as well whenever you guys are disposing of them. There's a couple of other pages, but I do want to highlight just it says program resources, which this is what you guys will have access to. So you would have an account manager, their title is client strategy manager, that will be assigned specifically to your account. They would meet with you in person at least 3 times a year. They're going to be showing you exactly, you have one meeting at the beginning of the year where you look at the last 12 months of the partnership and identify where every single dollar went to as far as your fleet goes. They'll also meet with you to look at the next 18 months to, once again, drive down costs and make recommendations based on age, mileage of vehicles, so on and so forth. And then they'll partner with you to look at the upcoming budget. So as you guys look, for example, right now, as you start looking at that 2027 fiscal year budget, they can provide that information, provide the data for you guys to make that process, a lot easier. On the last page of the fleet synopsis is just some references. So we're currently partnered with about 175 clients in South Texas. That's from San Antonio down to the border. You can see some of our current partners. If we're looking at just government entities, we're already partnered with City of Poteet, Pleasanton, Floresville, Brownsville, Pharr, so on and so forth. So they're all listed there. Also listed some references in case you guys would, if anybody wants to get in touch with somebody there, we can certainly make an introduction. We've got City of Bernie, Pleasanton, and City of San Marcos as well. So,
Council, this is another thing that, Fred's looking at, where can we save money? And it's just a presentation for us to consider. I think we had a lunch and learn a little earlier, and just to be familiar with options out there that may save us some money on the back end, which is critical with this environment. So, you have any questions for our folks at Enterprise? Thank you guys very much for coming down. We appreciate that. We'll certainly be in touch.
No questions?
All right, next up, we have a proclamation. It's gonna be. Where's it? Red Cross. All right, your American Red Cross Month, 2026, a proclamation. In March, we celebrate American Red Cross Month by honoring our neighbors. We make its humanitarian mission possible in Pearsall, Texas. Every day, their acts of kindness change lives, bringing relief, comfort, and hope when help can't wait. This compassionate spirit runs deep in our community, just as it has for 145 years through the American Red Cross. Today, those who serve the San Antonio chapter of the American Red Cross light the way during emergencies, whether it's delivering shelter, food, and comfort after a disaster, providing a safe, life-saving blood supply for patients facing conditions like cancer treatment, childbirth complications, and traumatic injuries, assisting military members, veterans, and their families with 24/7 global support, or empowering individuals with the skills like first aid and CPR that save lives. These collective efforts are powerful reminders that the strength of our community lies in our shared commitment to one another. As we mark Red Cross Month, we celebrate our local heroes' resolve to continue lifting each other up so no one faces an emergency alone. Therefore, I, Ben T. Briscoe, of Pearsall, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the laws of Pearsall, Texas, and Texas, hereby claim March 2026 as Red Cross Month. I encourage all citizens of Pearsall to reach out and support its humanitarian mission. So let it be written, let it be done. All right, we have another, and it is a proclamation on Earth Day. Earth Day proclamation, whereas April 22nd is celebrated globally as Earth Day, a day dedicated to reflecting upon our responsibilities to protect and sustain the natural world for future generations. And whereas the theme of Earth Day 2026, Our Power, Our Planet, reminds us of the collective power we hold to enact positive change for our environment and to promote sustainable practices. And whereas we recognize that our actions today significantly impact on the health of our planet, its ecosystems, and all forms of life that depend on a healthy environment. And whereas it is imperative that we empower communities, individuals, and organizations to harness their collective strength to advocate for policies and practices that promote sustainable and sustainability and stewardship of our natural resources. And whereas engaging in local and global efforts to combat climate change, conserve biodiversity, and reduce pollution is essential to creating a more sustainable future. And whereas we honor the contributions of individuals and organizations dedicated to environmental stewardship, advocating for a sustainable future. Now, I, therefore, Ben T. Briscoe, Mayor of the City of Pearsall, Texas, and on behalf of the Pearsall City Council, do hereby claim April 22nd, Tuesday, 2026, as Earth Day in the City of Pearsall, Texas. I urge all citizens to recognize their power as stewards of the earth, participants in the events that promote environmental health, and join together in the quest to build a sustainable world for generations to come. Proclamation so noted. Okay, folks, the other item is we talked about a civil order on disobedience. The city attorney and I have been back and forth, and there are some statutes out there that already provide some coverage on that. So there's nothing really present now. If we deem that there's more that we can do in that regard, we'll bring it to the next regular city council meeting. But at this time, we think we have laws that probably going to take that. We're not going to recreate the wheel. So I want to just let you guys know that's on the docket, and we'll determine whether we bring that back or not later on. But with that, I'm going to move on to item 7A. We are now in open public hearing. City Secretary, it is 6:44. 7B is on the request of the land use variance special use condition or setback requirement for chapter 48 zoning ordinance of the city of Pearsall to allow for the placement of a 10x16 storage shed at the property located at 309 North Peach Street, described as such and such in your agenda. We are in an open hearing. Is there any comment regarding to this property located at 309 North Peach Street? Again, we are in an open hearing, and I'll hear any dialogue regarding properties located at 309 Peach Street. Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the meeting. The closed public hearing happened at exactly 6:45. Now, it is 6:45, and I'm opening another public hearing on the request made by the property owner, Misael Emeraldo, for the short form final plat to vacate West 85-1-2 Block 18 Pearsall Edition to create a Lot 1A, Block 18 such and such. This is an open hearing. And is there anybody that would like to make a statement regarding this piece of property? Again, we're in an open public hearing and I'll allow anybody to make a statement regarding this piece of property. Hearing none, council, I am closing the public hearing and it is 6:46. Okay, with that, we have a consent item. Council, this is an action item to approve the minutes from February 10th, 2026 city council meeting. I need a motion and second and approval. Motion by Councilwoman A Garza, second by Councilwoman Hernandez. Have any questions? We good?
The other way around.
Okay, did I get that backwards? Okay, so switch that, Madam Secretary. All right, is there any questions? All right, hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, council. Moving on, all items following are action items. 9A. Discuss and consider resolution number 2026-0301, a resolution approving and accepting the annual audit, financial statements and opinion of the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025. Council, may I have a motion? In a second, motion by Councilwoman Hernandez, second by Councilwoman A Garza. Council, do you have any questions? Hearing none, a call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, next up, item 9B, discuss, consider a hot fund request submitted by the 304H Claybusters for their fundraiser on April the 15th through the 19th, 2026. This is an action item. I'll ask for a motion and second. Got a motion by Councilwoman Hernandez, second by Councilwoman Trevino. And with that, we're gonna call Mr. Beaver, Mr. Beaver, go forward, please. All right, if you would like your associate to join you, he's welcome to.
Oh, he's doing a good job.
Okay, he's taking notes.
He is, he's watching. We're not the.
Welcome.
Evening, council. I want to point out, looks like might have been a little bit typo. It is April 18th and 19th, the 15th.
Okay.
Okay, the 2-day event, Saturday and Sunday.
So noted.
Good evening. Once again, my name is Adam Beaver. I'm a club volunteer with the Old County H Claybusters. And once again, I'm seeking y'all support for our annual fundraiser. It's going to be April 18th and 19th. Y'all have very generously supported our cause in the past. And as a consequence, we've had very successful endeavors. Our club is a shotgunning club and it's a 4-H club. Now, and what draws people to our event is we prize out scholarships. And so we need to have an event for them to win a scholarship and the money I'm seeking is actually for the purchase of targets and the consumable that we use in our event. We seek other sponsors for the scholarship amount. So we've held it 9 years. This will make our 10th year. It's a 2-day event. The people come in and stay in Pearsall and shop here and use the local restaurants. We expect about 125 contestants, and by the time they bring their family members and other entourage, it'll be about 200 people in attendance. We're prizing out $6,600 in scholarships, which is but that's to many individuals. It's not just 1 or 2. It's not weighted. Everybody has a chance to win something they can apply towards their future. It's in April. We will start advertising next week in Freedom Waste current. It's very similar as we've used in the past. They do a great job for us. And so this is really my application is a review of what I submitted on August 12th, and I'm requesting $6,600. And that's what we spent last year for targets and setup fees. That's what I'm requesting, but y'all have been very generous over the years, and so any amount would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, council, unfortunately, we budgeted 10,000 in the line items for the Pioneer Days and Claybusters. And so we're at a little bit of a remiss to be able to meet that full budget. So recommendation would be to allow that to split 50-50 and allow the Claybusters half of that. And again, it does come from pot. That is what we budgeted, unfortunately. 10,000.
Well, 5 and 5.
5 and 5. We've got a motion to second, and we've got okay with that. The next up, the Pioneer Road.
It's already
But we already, did we do the same amount last year, right?
What did we do last year?
Last year was 53.
Okay, so this year you want.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've requested, but, you know, ultimately it's for y'all to decide and Pioneer Days is a very worthy. Worthy effort.
I think that we should go with 50-50 and consider maybe increasing it next year.
That's more than fair.
Yeah, appreciate that. At budget season, again, it is hot funds, you know, a little bit different than our operating, so, and both of you.
That's what I was like.
Like that has something to say.
The
Yes.
chief can assist for the difference.
Oh, very good.
Awesome.
Get around the bill off next year.
Then the chamber will assist with the different.
Great.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, so council with that, we've got a motion to second for 5,000 Play Buster. There any other questions? Call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously, and thank you, Mr. Brown. Appreciate it. Thank you for what you do with all these kids. Thanks. Next up. Discuss and consider a request for the Frio Pioneer Days for the financial support for the Frio County Museum and their annual Frio Pioneer Days. This is an action item. To the second, motion by Councilwoman Hernandez, second by Councilwoman A. Garza. We have Dr. Cool. Welcome down.
Good evening, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and council, I appreciate the opportunity to present before you. I have a lot of flyers, but basically, just, I'll hold this up so everyone can see the newest one. We are on our 29th annual Pioneer Days, and this was started by Barbara Beaver and her family and the Museum Association 29 years ago. And so we skipped a year with rain and skipped a year with the shutdown. And so we're just proud to be going on strong this year again. We are providing washer pitching. We've got a dance group with a folkloric group out of Divine, the auction event. I'm just reading off this real quick. We're reinstituting our salsa cook-off this year, and plus having the children's pork chop cook-off, and we're gonna have a separate category for their salsa and dessert. So we're gonna have the kids kind of covering their own this year too. Cowboy Doug, and he's always a lot of fun to have around. The Old West Gunslingers are confirmed, and they're gonna be coming down, so I always enjoy all the activity that they provide. Anyway, we are open for questions.
Council, we'd like to, we've got budgeted for them 5,000 as well. God, will that work for me?
Well, I thought we were on the agenda for 10, but we'll take all we can take.
Oh, yeah, council, when we work at our budget next year, we'll certainly come close to it.
Why did that?
Nice to see you, Dr. Gore.
You know the worthy pleasure. Any other questions?
All right, council, we've got 5,000, we're certainly ready to go. We've got a motion to set on it. Any other questions? Call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Doc, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Please do.
Yeah, there's
Citizens, please take one.
information about cook-off.
Yeah, it is a tremendous festival. That is a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Thank you, Doc, for what you do.
Thank you.
Next up, item 9D. Discuss and consider the acceptance of grant to the Texas Forest Service Fire Department Assistance Program in the amount of $265,000 for the purchase of a large brush truck. This is a grant. So I'll go for a motion in a second. Motion by Councilwoman Hernandez, second by Councilwoman Trevino. Chief Placido, you are up.
Thank you.
So this grant's been going on for about 5 years, and the governor finally released a lot of funds, so he was able to fund $198 million worth of trucks, so we were one on the list, so. We're gonna partner with ESD, and the ESD has agreed to pay the $265,000 up front. And the city will pay the $48,000 remaining to cover the rest. So yeah, that's where we're at there. It's on that brush truck. It'll carry 1,000 gallons of water. No problem.
So it is it's new. And it's a 48 on that, should be put 48, put 65.
It's what it is, it's 95% funded, so anything over that, the 5% the city would have to pay, so. The actual truck was $312,000, well. The EST gonna front the 265, and then the remaining balance the city. 47,695.
And we're allocated for that.
I'm not sure where he's at.
City manager, Christine, are you available?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we got a match for the service fire department truck with a grant of $265,000. So we've got funds available to meet that match of $48,000.
Yes, sir, we do. Now, if for any reason we run a little bit short, we can dip into this, a bit our fund balance, which again is 7.4 months. But I don't anticipate that being a problem. I don't think we'll have to do that.
Yeah, okay, all right. All right, council, do you have any questions from our chief? Yes. All right, we've got a motion in a second, call for a vote, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously, thank you very much. All right, previously tabled item number 9E, discuss and consider authorizing the city manager into an agreement with Pearsall Little League for the use of the city's Victor Trevino Sport Complex for Little League baseball and softball games during Little League season. This is a previously tabled item. I'm gonna ask for a motion in a second.
Motion.
By Councilman Trino, second by Councilwoman A. Garza. All right, this item, I believe the city manager and our Little League individuals have got together and spoke. Madam Secretary, you have some intel on this contract that's split.
Stephen, did you want to?
Come on up.
We did meet with Stephen Hunzon and Mr. Bravo. We went ahead and reviewed the contract, we made some changes. Pretty much, we stipulated that during Little League season, there's going to be absolutely no rentals at all. Doesn't matter what day it is, just so that we can prohibit our guys from running 7 days a week, because they're prepping every day for the next day of Little League. So we're at least giving them Sunday off. It's just a lot for them to be running 7 days a week, not to include the overtime as well. So that's one of the things that we did change. Another thing we did note was keys. Mr. Rendon will receive the sole set of keys. He will keep custody of that key the entire time. That's gonna be to the gates, it's gonna be to our concession stand. He will be solely responsible for that. At the end of the season, he needs to turn that back in. I believe this does extend to All-Stars.
Correct, yeah, if we host All-Stars, it'll be till end of June, probably. So from now till June is what we're looking at.
Yes, y'all could be in a bit.
Correct, we did put in a bid for All Stars, it's us and Lidle, and from what I understand. If we're the only two towns that put in for it, one of us will get district and the other one will get sectionals. So it's pretty much a guarantee we're gonna host All Stars, so. I don't know about the city, you know, you're looking at 20-30 teams coming to play for 2 weeks straight, so. Plenty use of all your facilities around here, restaurants, stores, you know, anything for the teams.
Increase hot funds as well as sales tax
Yes.
for the community.
What about the entry fees? Does it pay for the permits and things like that?
Entry fees, that's
That goes to the
completely
district.
different, yeah,
It goes to the district a little
Yeah,
bit.
doesn't go to.
yeah, it doesn't, nothing goes to
pay
us.
Okay, so then when you say no tournaments are gonna be hosted on Sunday during Little League,
At all, nothing at all. Even whenever they're practicing, the fields are gonna be exclusively for Little League.
But don't y'all usually have games like on Sunday where everyone have the all-stars and stuff like that?
All-Stars, yes, but it's part of the Little League.
It's an extension.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
so then that
But-
would be happening on
Yes.
Sundays.
Yeah.
Those- Okay.
No select.
No select.
No,
tournament.
yeah, no private tournaments, nothing like that.
One thing, man.
No for-profit tournaments, no one's gonna privately rent it, host a tournament and make money privately. It's all gonna be Little League All-Stars, yes. Did anybody have any questions?
The only other thing is, I'm sure that the public is aware that we're moving forward in developing that sport complex, so, I'm happy that this is, happening in this organization, how it's moving, but we just ask that this, be taken into consideration that you do your part as Little League to maintain it and stuff, because again, it is gonna be invested into a lot of bigger things,
Yeah,
we close
we
everything.
do our part. We have somebody that cleans up after every day at the end of the night. We clean all our fields, we sweep, blow them off, throw the trash out. And we have somebody that's strictly that, so we don't have trash thrown around and, stuff thrown like cups, food, all of that stuff. We take care of all that.
Crystal and I.
It is noted in
we
the
went out
financial.
there- We went out there during the week and,
Yes.
I noticed the guys and how much work and how much manpower it takes to maintain those fields, so. Again, it's something that, I'm glad that we're moving forward on this agreement. And just to know that we're gonna be moving forward in developing that park, so.
Yes, we did bring that to his attention. I believe we're anticipating that construction to hit about maybe 2027 to get that ball rolling, so we still do have some time to figure out what it is that we can do. Now, in addition to that, we did speak to Ms. Deborah Dockery, the city's architect, to try to put the Little League in contact with those UTSA students that did that rendering for the link, if you guys remember that a couple months back. To see if they can do some pro bono work for the existing Little League field that they have out on East Colorado. So that's also something that we're looking at to assist with, not necessarily out of city funds, but just with our connections. So try to help get them a field.
Yeah, we are looking into doing that, rebuilding that whole Little League field. I don't know if it was around. I don't know when it stopped having games, but we are looking into that to rebuilding that out there, so. Hopefully we can get something going or that'll help out in the 2027 when construction starts over here.
Make it a community project, do this for the kids of the community.
Thank you.
Kathy, do you have any other questions? Councilwoman?
For the Little League, select, no select.
No, so that's right. We had that issue last year where somebody selling our food on the container stand, so.
Yeah. Any other questions, council? For that, okay, we've got a motion and a second, I'll call for a vote, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you guys for what you do in Little League, appreciate that. All right, moving on to item 9F. Discuss and consider resolution number 20260303 regarding land use variance special use conditions for the setback requirements of chapter 48. Regarding a 10x16 storage shed on 309 North Peach Street. This is an action item. I'm gonna ask for a motion in a second. Motion by Councilwoman Hernandez, second by Councilwoman A. Garza. Madam Secretary, you have the floor.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. Before you for consideration is going to be 3 variances. Mr. Omar Castillo is here present with his wife. They are owners of the property in question. I have on the memo, on the item cover page, a little chart to explain exactly what it is that we're dealing with here. To start off, this is a non-conforming lot, as you all know. Our code currently requires 9,200 square feet. Unfortunately, his lot sits at 7,000 square feet, so he's short, it's at 2,200 square feet. It is a narrow lot, it is on the west side. So, code requirement is 30 feet rear yard setbacks. He's asking for a variance of 7.5 feet. Side yard setbacks 15 feet, he's asking for 5 feet. Distance from the main dwelling, it is required 10 feet, however, due to space, he's asking for 3 feet. As you do see here, Unfortunately, the unit was placed prematurely. It was actually placed accidentally by the company, the delivery company, the day after planning and zoning. They did not wait, unfortunately, for the council meeting. So the company did deliver it prematurely. I did have Gunna go out there. Due again to the square footage. It has changed just slightly. The rear, instead of the 7.5 feet, he did have to set it down 4 feet away from the back fence. Side yard, he asked for 5, he had to sit it 5 feet, 4 feet away, and that's just from a vacant property. It's his sister's property that's in front of his. And then instead of 3 feet, he actually moved it away 5 feet from the dwelling. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and show you a
What's the
scenario.
recommendation from planning?
I am, from planning and zoning, they recommended to not place it due to the lack of space. I did inform them again, it is a non-conforming lot. He is short 2,200 square feet. It is not his fault. That is the way the lot sits, unfortunately. So. They did make some recommendations. The 3 recommendations that they made were not feasible, they are not reasonable, I felt personally. But they did recommend not approving. Staff, however, I myself am recommending placement of the accessory building due to the size of the lot. He does not have anything else on there other than his manufactured home, a carport. That's it. He has nothing extra sitting on. Does anybody have any questions, any concerns? There's nothing sitting in front of him, there's nothing sitting in the back of him. The closest building is 53 feet away. And that property butts up to the back of him. There's no fire hazard.
What's the motion saying?
To.
Consider resolution on.
I would ask for it to be amended to show where it currently sits, though.
So is it gonna be used for storage or are you gonna be using it for someone?
Storage. It's for storage.
Oh my. That makes sense, but yeah, so, I mean.
There's no plumbing, there's no electrical to go into it, it's strictly for storage.
And yeah, I mean, I will work on that.
Council, we have a motion and a second and recommendation of the city secretary. As stated. Is that accurate to say?
As the rear 4 feet, side 4 feet, and dwelling 5 feet.
Just don't move it from where it's at.
Correct.
Yeah. Leave it there. We already.
That's the recommendation, that's what the motion and second is for. Council, do you have any questions? Hearing none, call for a vote, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, thank you. Thank you, Luz. Madam Secretary, you're in. Discuss and consider a request made by property owner. Misael Emeraldo for a short form final plat on Bay Kent West 85 feet of 1.2 by 18. Here's how this is an action item. That's for a motion and second. Motion by Councilwoman Hernandez, second by Councilwoman Trevino. Madam Secretary, you have the floor.
Mayor and council, as it states right here, what we are doing is the west 85 feet of lots 1 and 2, which is Irmas Tacos. And it is combining those 2 lots to form lot 1A.
And there's a motion?
Motion second. Any questions? Call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Council item 8. Thank you. Madam Secretary. Item 9H, discuss and consider ordinance number 2026 or 301, amending the code of ordinance of the city of Pearsall by amending chapter 34, offense for miscellaneous provisions, and adding section 34.6, camping in public places to prohibit camping in public parks and public places, providing for a penalty, so on and so forth. This is an item. A motion to second. Motion by Councilwoman Hernandez, second. Second by Councilwoman Trevino. Council, this is just a ordinance that I brought to the table to beef up our current laws and allow law enforcement to prohibit public camping, sleeping on the sidewalks and that kind of thing. So that is what it is. I asked the city attorney to help put together this ordinance, and so that's what it is. Council, you have any questions?
Do we have a problem with?
Yes, we.
It's more to prevent a problem, but yes, there has been problems with people sleeping downtown.
Right there by McDonald's, right in that.
Centennial Park is where they were setting up at one time, unfortunately, they were using the fence and the tree to put parks.
There's no conversation, let's go, pass it, let's go.
You know the question?
But then, okay, so let's pass this, that's fine, but what are we going to do about this situation? You can't just say, oh, well, let's charge them whatever, without us saying, okay, how are we gonna fix the problem? Not just, no, they're not gonna get a free ride over there. I think they're gonna look into it.
Council, it is I talked to the city manager of San Antonio 3 years ago. Not soliciting homelessness, but it's similar, it's a homeless thing, so what do you do about your homelessness? It's just, it's catastrophic. Her answer was, we don't have a solution.
So give them hope for him,
Yeah,
San Antonio, that's what it's there for.
it is tough, but
Of
as soon
course.
as you start.
They want help,
Start
though.
allowing it.
The big cities haven't been able to keep any of that stuff under control.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, we don't have anything at all. Like,
Yeah, we
for
have
them
nothing to offer.
to be like, oh, okay, well, now we can say, okay, well, if they don't want it, they're not gonna go get help. But if we don't do anything at all, we're just allowing this situation to keep recurring. And then what? It's like.
Well, it's the choice you make, either go sleep or public.
All they don't want. But still do it. I mean,
And so what is it that you want your city to look like? I mean, it's a problem, I wish I had the answer, I don't, except but allowing.
San Antonio.
we can't, they, the PD.
In helping, city manager, but what the ordinance says, y'all have to move along. You have to move along, you just can't, you can't. So, I mean, that.
Chief, what's the law say?
As far as what's,
We have public camping,
they legally can be there if they're not causing a problem,
If they're making a mess.
but that's if we don't have an order.
So, if they can legally be in a public area, then what is it that the state uses to get them out of underneath bridges?
That, I believe that's gonna be due to the safety issue of them being under the bridge. I don't believe that's gonna have to do with.
How does San Antonio do it to get them out of public areas?
That's something I would need to look into.
I think I would highly suggest that the chief start looking into that
Okay.
and find resources to, if we do start seeing more reoccurrence of homelessness, of what resources we could use to either transport them to San Antonio to Haven for Hope, or finding some sort of help for them.
The issue with that is that to transport them to San Antonio, it has to be volunteer. And the majority of these people, they don't wanna volunteer to do anything like that.
But I think to get into a role or
Yeah, everything.
you have to have an ID.
But they have to show up. They're-
They don't have any.
council, it is a tough decision, what do you do, but if you start to allow it, then it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's
here's my
not
thing.
illegal, like you
All right,
said.
one at a time, who's got the floor?
You cannot vote on this off of feelings or emotions. This is something we want to vote on what's right and what's wrong. And what path do we want our city to move forward with? Do we want it to look like San Francisco? Or do we want to have it clean? And we have to enforce some sort of ordinance and order for it not to occur here.
San Antonio, you want to know?
Like if we're in San Antonio,
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's
Yeah,
still,
of course.
it's still there.
it happens, but you still gotta clean it, still gotta move it, you gotta move, you can't just let it sit there, because it becomes a cap.
I think it's our duty to put resources in place before we tackle an ordinance. We don't have, like, Ms. Barrett.
You don't have the
Council,
funding.
we don't have the funding, but we have the resources to outreach in partnership with other resources. We don't have that, I mean,
Okay, one at a
like
time.
a drug addict, whatever the case is, we don't have the resources, even through the court systems, we don't have it. So if we're putting ordinances in place, we need resources in order to stop that, to prevent those issues. Like Ms. Councilwoman Garza says, is it just gonna be repeated, we're gonna be charging them, and are they gonna be able to pay? Is another question, so this is something that I think we needed to study it, get the data, and then put the resources in place, and then come back and put it. because we're doing it the opposite way.
Okay, well, all right,
But-
allow, are you done?
Yes, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Here's the problem with resources. I work downtown, they had all the resources that you can. They have Home for Hate, which was just a couple of blocks away. They don't want resources. I actually sat down with many of them because I work downtown on the Riverwalk and spoke to them. Many of them know that they have resources, know that they have an issue, but they choose not to take care of their issue. That's the bottom line. Haven for Hope gave them everything they wanted, but they don't go there because they don't want it. They choose drugs, they choose addiction, and they know they have a problem. But that's the life they choose. All you can do is just continue moving them and moving them and moving them until they find somewhere else new to go.
Yeah, council, it's a tough, everybody got their opinion, I mean, we've got a motion second, let's call for a vote, if it passes, if it doesn't, and something. So, any other questions? All right, call for a vote, all in favor, please raise your hands.
Aye.
1, 2, all opposed, raise your hands.
Hold on, who calls for the motion?
That, because they call for a motion, they don't have to vote for it, they can vote against it. So, I got 2, 4, and 3 against. Okay, motion fails, all right, thank you, council. All right, moving on to, okay, item 9I, this is signatories for the bank accounts. These will be the mayor, the city manager, city secretary, and the permit clerk. That's Ben, Fred, Crystal, and Virginia. So approval needs to be by the council, discuss and consider resolution number 20260302, authorizing signatures for all its designated depository accounts. This is an action item. I'll ask for a motion in a second. Motion by Councilwoman Hernandez, second by Councilwoman A. Garza. Do you have any questions about signatories, which is standard? Crystal, is that correct?
Correct, it is calling for the removal of Ms. Moran from our, pretty much our bank account. And it is gonna add Ms. Virginia Cuevas, the permit clerk, to go ahead and sign for checks, stuff like that. So,
Any questions? Okay, we got a motion to second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, council, I'm gonna ask you to consider item 9J, 9K, and 9P on page 4. 9P is for the election to cancel place number 6, which does not have a candidate. So these 3 items are all regarding the election coming up, with the exception of place number 6. The other 2 is what we do every election year. So I'm gonna ask you for a motion to second to approve items 9J, 9K, and 9P with 1 vote. Got a motion by Councilwoman Hernandez, a second by Councilwoman Garza. Is there any questions? Call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so together, we're gonna lease the equipment. We're gonna enter in a contract for the election ballot services, and we're going to cancel election for place number 6. Does anybody have any questions regarding it? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, discuss and consider ordinance number 20260301.
You scared of her?
Amending the adopted budget for the fiscal year beginning October 5th, 2025. And these are regarding 2 grants. Finance director, are you on the Zoom link?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you want to speak to these 2 grants? Which
Well,
you can
actually, I believe it's 4 grants. It is 3 for the police department, 1 for parks. And it's going to amend the budget to recognize the revenue that'll come in from the grants for the police fire resistant body armor, the body worn cameras, and the Safe Neighborhood Initiative, as well as the 2026 National Fitness Grant that's coming in for the parks. And it'll allow us to recognize the revenue and then again the expenses that will associate with those revenues and record it in compliance with grant requirements.
Okay, and if I saw it correctly, there's only 1 with a match, is that right?
Yes, sir, that's correct. Only one of them had a match, and that was the body worn cameras.
Yeah, and we get 171,000 and the match is 30.
Exactly, yes, sir.
Okay, so council, we've got 4 grants on the table. 1 is a part match. We'll get 171,000 for our police department for body cams and $30,000 match. And we've got the funds allocated for that. Christine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions for our finance director? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Folks, it's time to get a new CPA firm. Our old contract has gone out. So this is simply a RFP, and you're authorizing the city manager to go out for proposals. So with that, I'll take a motion to discuss and consider authorizing the city manager to issue a RFP for auditing services.
Okay.
Motion by Councilwoman Hernandez, second by Councilwoman A Garza. Is there any questions? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, discuss and consider the transfer of a 50.43 acre tract legally described as such and such, and that there's Lower C. You can read it there to the rest of it, but this is an action item. I'm gonna call for a motion. Motion by Councilwoman Hernandez. We have a second. Second by Councilwoman Garza. Madam Secretary, do you have the information regarding this?
Yes, this is related to the public Pearsall Industrial Development Corporation. This is just retroing the action that was already taken. You're gonna go ahead and just transfer the property from city property over to the PIPC.
Okay, is there any questions regarding this? Now this is item 9N.
Correct.
Right, okay, there's an action, a motion and second. Do we have any questions? Okay, let's vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 9O, discuss and consider transferring a portion of the 15 acre tract, the city owned property legally described as block 5, block 2 for Hospital Business Park. To the PFC. This is an action item. That's for a motion in the second. Motion by Councilwoman Hernandez, second. Garza, with that, City Secretary.
This is the lot or the tract of land that sits currently behind the PD. Remember, there is a portion that is going for the well that White PR is currently working on. The rest of it, we're wanting to use it for housing purposes. So it'll be transferred over to the PFC.
And those guys are still conversing with us about some housing, so hopefully we can get something going. This is a move in the right direction. Council, do you have any questions regarding transferring 15 acres to the PFC? If not, call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And with that, it is 7:22. We're going into an executive session. Please leave your cell phones here.
That's it. Mayor.
All right.
Mayor.
Yeah. It's actually that's a misdemeanor for public camping.
Oh.
Hi, everybody. We're back from executive session. No action happened back in the back room there. With that, it is Madam Secretary 8 or 12 minutes after 8.
Thank you.
And with that, we are moving on to here, item 11A. This will be discussed and consider Frio jail service contracts as related to our conversation in the back.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion to go ahead and direct you to do a joint force with the entities and figure out a solution.
Okay, there's a motion
Within 30 days.
on the table by Mayor Pro Tem. We have a second. Second by Councilwoman Trevino. Is there any questions? Hearing none, call for a vote. I'm going to ask for a hand vote. Please raise your hand. All in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Outstanding. Any opposed? None. Motion passes unanimously. Well done, council. Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Item 11B. Discuss and consider interlocal agreement for magistrate service with the Frio County and the city of Billy. This is an action item.
Mayor,
Council.
I would like to make a motion to direct the city manager and the city attorney to go ahead and get into talks with getting involved with the rotation of the judges.
Okay, there's a motion on the table to get back into rotation with the magistrate services. May I have a second? There's a second by Councilwoman A. Garza. Is there any question? Hearing none, I'm going to call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, item 11C, council, what's your pleasure?
What's this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this, I make a motion to table.
There's a motion to table item 11C. May I have a second?
Okay.
Second by Councilwoman, there was a motion by Mayor Pro Tem, second by Councilwoman A. Garza to table this action item. May I have a vote, please? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 11D. Come in.
Motion, no action.
Okay, there's a motion by Mayor Pro Tem to table item 11D. May I have a second? Second count by Councilwoman Hernandez. Is there any questions? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Excuse me. Item 11E.
I make a motion to go ahead and table this. And bring it back at a later date.
Okay, there's a motion on the table to table this.
I like to rephrase this.
Okay, rephrase.
I like to make a motion to go ahead and direct the city
Very good.
attorney, city mayor, and the city manager to start conversations and to bring something back to the council for further discussions.
Okay, very well. There's a motion on the table for the city manager, the mayor, and the city attorney to get together on matters related to the city manager. We have a second. There's a second by Councilwoman Hernandez. Is there any questions? Hearing none, I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. With that, council, we're at that coveted moment where you get a chance to look at the bill. Is there any questions about it? Anything that you would like to make a general statement?
You know what, I would just like to say, I really appreciate, this isn't the longest I've been on council. And I really appreciate how we've all been able to, you know, have our differences, but yet still come together. Oh, yeah, for the good of the city. Amazing. Yes.
Well, you guys, I appreciate y'all. It's been a pleasure. So, with that, anything else?
And I just have a fun announcement to invite all council members to my annual Easter egg event on the 22nd and stuff.
April. You said April or March? April or March?
March.
The day after Pioneer Day. Remember, the Alamo letter, if you guys are in town, 10 o'clock. All right, with that, anything else? Staff, appreciate it very much. All you guys make things work here. We're grateful. Keep up the good work. And with that, I will entertain a motion to go home. There's a motion by everybody, seconded by everybody. All in favor, say aye. Let's go home.
Yes.